You are about to participate in a great adventure.
Hit in the air to deep right center.
Pike open on the low side. Greg Pike, believe me, sweetie, I got enough to feed the needy. No need to be greedy. Mad friends with Benzes and C notes by the layers. I love it when you call me Big Papa.
It is high.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is far. It is gone.
You're listening to the Tom and Jerry Show. Welcome back to another episode of the Tom and Jerry Show. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Tom.
We have a guest, speaker here. He's going to get into a little NBA. Matt, why don't you say a few words?
Yeah, Matt, I'm an NBA expert. So, teaching you guys about some NBA.
All right, so we're going to get into the baseball signings. A couple of big ones.
Yeah.
Of course, Football Friday. We'll get into a little NBA news with Matt in depth. And last night we had a Thursday night football game. We'll get into that. And we'll get back to we'll answer some of your Twitter questions that we had flowing in. A couple of shout-outs. First, we'll get into the Thursday night football game. We had a very good game.
Surprisingly, yeah, probably the first good Thursday night football game all year.
We had the Saints and the Falcons. Saints were coming in at 5-6. Falcons were coming in at 10-1. Still don't think that they're
and
as good as
the funny thing
record
is,
shows.
they're 10-1. Yeah, the Saints are coming in their house, and a lot of people thought the Saints were going to win that game.
Yeah,
that's just how the Falcons are this year. That's how they're going to be looked at until they win a playoff game.
Falcons kind of surprised me. They won this game 23-13. I thought the Saints were going to win this game.
I thought, yeah.
Being that, they were hot, sort of.
Yeah.
Breeze was 28 for 50, 341 yards, no touchdowns, which snapped his streak.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Of at least one touchdown a game. And surprisingly, I never would think I would say this in the same sentence as Drew Brees, but 5 interceptions.
Yeah,
which is insane for Drew Brees.
Well, if you watch the game,
his first ever.
I started watching second quarter, 7 to 8 minutes left, and it was 17-0 already for the Falcons. So they're obviously not going to run the ball that much. Drew Brees had all the pressure on him to make the comeback, and he just couldn't do it. He's human.
Pierre Thomas rushed 14 times, 84 yards. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Atlanta's defense is a little suspect, I think.
Yeah, no.
Lance Moore is a monster.
Yeah.
7 catches, 123 yards, which, it's kind of tough. You try to wonder, who is actually the best wide receiver on this team. You have Colston, who's a very good wide receiver, and then you have Lance Moore. But Lance Moore puts up the numbers.
I would say, at the moment, Lance Moore is probably...
Yeah.
May not be better necessarily, but Breeze is going to him more.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
So... He's got the talent. He made that ridiculous catch. Yeah, he made that ridiculous catch at 50 or
he's got good hands.
Right before the 2-minute warning. It was Lance Moore is a very good player.
The other side, Matt Ryan, 18 for 33, 165 yards and a touchdown. Michael Turner rushed 12 times, 83 yards and a touchdown. Tony Gonzalez, 4 catches, 58 yards and a touchdown, and Julio Jones had 5 catches, 48 yards. No big numbers receiving for, the Falcons, which usually is the case.
That's what you would expect, too, against the Saints' worst defense in the league.
Yeah.
Although they have been playing better. I mean, you're at home. You got the best vertical offense in football. You gotta show up.
Well, they cracked down in the second half.
Yeah.
The first half they gave up easy points. I think it was 17-3 or something like that.
It was 17-0 before I started watching it. Had 7 minutes left in the second.
So, but Falcons take that, which kind of makes this NFC playoff picture very interesting.
Yeah, it does.
Saints are 5-7. We have a few 6-5 and 5-6 teams going into Sunday. So, Sunday should be pretty interesting.
And I feel like a lot of these teams are still playing each other, too, in the NFC playoff picture. So
of course.
These last 5 games are really it's going to be interesting stuff.
Definitely. we'll get into. Actually, I wanted to shout out. It's Jimmy V week.
Yeah, if you guys don't watch the college basketball on ESPN, they have a tournament for it all, and 100% of the donations go right to cancer charity and stuff like that. So it's a great cause.
Yeah, we have a little snippet from, I think, the most inspirational
without a
speech
doubt, hands down,
ever made. A guy, pretty much not knowing how long he has, but didn't have that much longer. And to go on stage, winning the Arthur Ashe Award in '93, and just to put on, a speech like that was amazing.
If you watch like the whole speech on like YouTube or something like that, like it gets to you. I mean, he's up there not knowing how much time he has, but he's still like so positive about everything.
Exactly.
Like, it's just
here is, the part that I thought was, which everybody should really go by, I think. But here it is.
I just got one last thing. I urge all of you, to enjoy your life, the precious moments you have, to spend each day with some laughter and some thought, to get your emotions going, to be enthusiastic every day. And Ralph Waldo Emerson said, nothing great can be accomplished without enthusiasm, to keep your dreams alive in spite of problems, whatever you have, to be able to work hard for your dreams to come true, become a reality. Now I look at where I am now, and I know what I want to do. What I would like to be able to do is to spend whatever time I have left and to give and maybe some hope to others.
Now, the Jimmy V Foundation, they ended up making the Jimmy V Foundation right after that speech.
Yeah.
And here is Jimmy V on the motto.
His motto is, don't give up, don't ever give up.
All right, so everybody should really maybe, at least help out that charity, I think. Because, you hear more and more of people, getting cancer, and, we need that cure.
There's not one person out there listening or throughout the world that has not been affected by cancer in at least one way. So if you're, you obviously like sports, you're listening to this show. If you're watching college basketball this week, that's, the main foundation. Dick Vitale is pretty much running it. ESPN has a tournament going on all week. Please check it out. The games are on at like 7 o'clock at night. And give anything you can. It'll be for a great cause.
Of course. We had a couple of big Major League Baseball signings. We had last night, actually probably this morning, David Wright agreed to the offer by the Mets, which will make him the richest ever in Mets history.
Deservingly so, I would say. I mean,
yeah.
He's been there for a while. He's been the best player on that team.
He's getting 8 years, $138 million. Big contract.
That's a big contract.
Big contract. Now, especially his worst home run year was 2009.
Yeah.
Which the first year.
Yeah, the first year of Citi
Field. He had 10 home runs. He usually averages around, like from 20 to 30. He really hasn't gone over 34.
Yeah.
But 2011 was his worst average year. He batted 254. He had 14 home runs and 61 RBIs that year. He only played in 102 games. You look at that, that's a bad year for him.
Yeah.
But then he comes into 2012. He pretty much didn't get hurt at all. Played 156 games, batted .306, 21 home runs, 93 RBIs, 178 hits. Do you think he, deserved
I think
that?
he does because, honestly, in my opinion, this is probably the best signing the Mets have had in years.
Yeah.
Because he's proven he can play for the Mets. He's not coming from another team, like making a transition or anything like that. He's been there before. He's been in New York. Everyone loves him in New York. If they didn't give him that contract, there would have been bigger problems with the fans than if they did go after him because this is the guy that Mets fans lean on. This is all they have pretty much.
Of course. So. Now, another guy on that team that I think maybe even had a better year than David Wright. Obviously, R.A. Dickey won the Cy Young. But they're talking about maybe even trading him to the Royals.
This
See,
is the
now-
Mets being the Mets.
But that's what I'm saying. Like you're gonna give David Wright this offer, but you also have this pitcher that's pretty much got you most of you know
A
gets
third
you
of your
win.
wins last year.
You know,
I'll put it that way.
Get you wins when he gets on the mound.
Yeah.
Very dynamic pitcher. You know, he throws like a 74 mile per hour, you know, knuckleball compared to like maybe Tim Wakefield who would
like
throw
the
like
60.
maybe a 61,
Yeah.
62 mile per hour fastball.
It's different than any other
you know,
knuckle we've seen
knuckleball,
in
yeah.
baseball.
Now, the thing that makes him dynamic is he could still throw an 85, you know,
Yeah.
82, 85 mile per hour fastball. Still throws a curveball.
And he's not risking himself.
Yeah.
He's not going out there throwing 97,
Exactly.
blowing out his arm. Like, he may be older, but you can knuckleball for a very long time in this
I mean,
league.
if you do compare him to the best knuckleball, I think, is, you know, Tim Wakefield.
Yeah, exactly.
Tim Wakefield's fastball was maybe at 76.
Yeah.
Maybe at 76.
So he's very different because
You
he's
know,
not a
He could throw hard.
he wasn't a knuckleballer at first. He was just a regular
Well,
generic
his
pitcher.
story is amazing.
Yeah.
But you know, to be able to throw a 72 mile per hour knuckleball that
Yeah.
you don't know where it's going to end up.
But to also have that 82, 83 mile per hour,
Exactly.
it's a
Exactly.
big difference.
That
people may
puts-
not think it is, but it throws you off at the plate.
Yeah, a batter gets into the batter's box. You know, now when you're going up against a knuckleball
That's
pitcher,
the first thing you're
Your
expecting,
first thing
yeah.
is, all right, just sit on the knuckleball.
Yeah.
You know, the motto for the knuckleball is, if it's high, let it fly. If it's
Yeah.
low, let it go. But now you're getting into the box and you're like, he can throw me this, 70 mile per
Yeah,
hour
exactly.
knuckleball that I don't know where it's going to end up. Or he could throw an 82 mile per hour fastball and paint the corner
Exactly.
and just,
Say that,
lock you
like,
up at the plate.
First, you're going up to bat against a knuckleballer, and the first pitch he throws to you is 83 mile per hour fastball.
Exactly.
Where does the batter's mind go?
Yeah.
Where could it possibly go? He's like, all right, now I got to deal with this. I got the knuckleball. I have no idea where it's going.
Yep.
So it's
So, deservingly so, he got the Cy Young.
yes.
He had a great year.
They can't let him go.
But now that's what I'm
They
talking
can't let him
about.
go.
I don't think you can let him go. I mean, build around. I mean, he's up in age, but build around him
Yeah.
and David Wright right now. If you want to give David Wright an 8-year, $138 million
Put
contract,
something around him.
Exactly.
That's what he wants.
Exactly. He needs pitching. He needs other players. But
If they trade with the way their roster is now, if they trade Ricky, people are gonna riot. Dickey, people are gonna riot because those are the two faces of the franchise. Basically, is David
For
Wright
right now,
and
yeah.
R.A. Dickey.
Yeah.
If they trade one of them, it's not gonna be good.
And I mean, now the one team that they're talking about is the Royals. What are you gonna get?
I know.
The only thing that you can probably get is prospects.
Yeah.
Because they're not really high on
Yeah.
big superstar players.
Yeah, they're not like a big budget
Yeah.
team or anything like that.
So I mean, you're gonna get prospects. Obviously, if they obviously know who they're gonna be looking at.
Yeah.
But
And Kansas City definitely has prospects because they've been one of the worst teams for 10+ years. It seems like so.
Yeah.
They've been getting high draft picks over and over, but.
But that was definitely the big signing of the week. Then on the other side of, New York, you got the Yankees. Russell Martin signs with the Pirates for a 2-year, $17 million contract.
I wonder why he did that besides the $17 million.
Another thing is, why didn't the Yankees maybe match? They could have matched it.
They could have at least matched.
I mean, obviously, he had a terrible year.
But he's solid behind the plate. And that's
the only
kind of
thing.
what you give him
That's
the
the
money
only thing.
for. He doesn't have to be a big bomber on that
Yeah.
team with Granderson, Cano,
Exactly,
A-Rod.
but I mean to hit.
But
I think he was
hit
like 220.
Yeah,
But it's just you can't do that.
yeah.
I mean, we still you're at the bottom of the lineup, but you still need to kind of produce.
Yeah, you need to do
know what I mean?
something.
The Yankees had a rough year.
What are they saying they're gonna do for catching now?
They
Are they
do
gonna go
have
Cervelli?
they have prospects.
Yeah.
They have Austin Romine. I mean, they obviously got rid of Jesus Montero.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna go with the farm system. With Romine.
Mhm.
Maybe they could go with Cervelli.
I think Cervelli probably will start,
Yeah.
and then like midway through they'll bring up.
but also they said they were looking at AJ Przinsky.
Oh, okay. That would be nice for them.
Yeah.
That would be a nice fit.
So we'll see what the Yankees do, but they were, busy in other, signings. They signed Mariano Rivera to a 1 year, $10 million contract. The only thing is now, you're looking at Mo. Yes, he's the greatest closer of all time.
Easily.
But now you gotta sort of look to the future. I mean, Mo is still great. Not as great as he was. He's he's starting to show his age a little bit. His fastball's kind of dropping a little bit, not too much. He's averaging around a 91 to 90 mile per hour fastball. His cutter's still,
the cutter.
The cutter, yeah, pretty much. He added a few more pitches. He's got a 2-seam fastball now. But now the whole situation with Rafael Soriano.
Yeah,
now if you look at the Yankees, I still think the MVP for their team this past year was Rafael Soriano.
He held that team together. Everyone was questioning the signing back when they got it with Hank and Cashman. One of them didn't want him, but if they didn't have him last year, I don't know where this team would have been because...
That's what I'm saying, because Robertson didn't pitch the way he pitched in 2011, which they thought he was going to take over that closing spot. He did take it over in the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
didn't work out too well. But now you're losing, your best, I guess, like the greatest closer of all time. You're losing him to an injury for the whole season.
Yeah.
For Rafael Soriano to come in and take over and do what he did.
Yeah. And the big thing about it, he wasn't even the closer the year before either.
Yeah.
He took 2 years off because he came to the Yankees to be the eighth inning guy.
Exactly. He wasn't settling that well in the 8th inning spot. He ended up taking over the 7th inning spot when Mo was still here. That didn't work out either. He's just a different pitcher when he's a closer compared to other,
relief.
Yeah. But I think the Yankees he doesn't want to sign to be like an 8th inning pitcher anymore. He wants to be a closer.
Yeah, especially after last year, he wants to be a closer again.
He wants to get closer money, but the Yankees aren't willing to give him that. Now, you let him go. They were talking about the Tigers. Other teams are looking at him. Now you let him go.
Say Mo.
You have Mariano for 1 year now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
That's the problem.
And now I would have to guess that he's going to retire after this year. Who is going to take over that spot? Who's going to take over that spot?
I mean, knowing the Yankees, they'll wait for the free agency class to come out.
Of course.
I mean, and they'll get a pitcher, but Rafael will probably be better than anyone coming up. Because
this is the biggest part of the Yankees right now, because whenever you talk about the Yankees, during their World Series years and all that stuff, it was pretty much a 7-inning game.
Yeah, really, that's what it came down to.
When you went up against the Yankees, if you were losing after 7 innings, you lost that game. You lost that game. And that's been their thing ever since Mariano came into the league.
Yeah, without a doubt.
When he took over that.
Since they started the World Series runs and stuff, it's pretty much been a wrap.
So, it's crazy to think, obviously it's crazy to think Mariano's not going to be there anymore.
Yeah.
But it's also crazy to think now, who do you have after Mariano? They had so
Especially
many expectations about different people.
Exactly.
You had Jabba Chamberlain.
They've tested everyone they've had, and no one's been able to live up to it.
Panned out the way that Rafael Soriano did, and I would love to see the Yankees try to at least try to get him back.
At least make an offer, show that you appreciated what he did for you last
year.
Because he really did keep that team together last year.
Another signing for the Yankees, they signed Andy Pettitte, 1 year, $12 million. I think he's good. He was pitching.
If he could stay healthy, that's nice.
He was pitching unbelievable going into his injury.
You know what you're going to get at Andy
Exactly.
Pettitte. That's the best thing about him.
And the thing is, everybody forgets they still have Pineda.
Yeah, that everyone seems
You don't
to
know.
forgot about.
You don't. Well, he never pitched for the Yankees
Yeah.
yet. You know, but you don't know what you're gonna get from him either. So to have a veteran, Andy Pettitte, come in like that, pitch the way he pitched last year before he got hurt. Hopefully, he can give them what he did last year.
Could be a nice 2-3 starter.
Yeah,
with,
bring him
depending
back
on
this
him
year.
or Kuroda.
Still one of the best, playoff pitchers.
Yeah.
So I think it's big to get him
if
back.
That starting rotation's healthy. That's something to work with. I mean, you're talking CC, Andy Pettitte, and Kuroda. That's not a bad 3-man rotation right there.
Another big signing that happened yesterday, it was B.J. Upton signing with the Braves.
I hate this signing.
5 years, $75.25 million.
Because the Braves basically chose B.J. Upton over Michael Bourne, and I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I mean,
Upton's average has been below 250. It seems like for 5 years in a row. I don't know what made him get to $75 million. I know he's a good center fielder. He's got pop.
He's a very good center fielder. He does have pop. My only problem with B.J. Upton is he's very laissez-faire.
His attitude.
He's just very lazy. I've seen games where the ball is hit over his head and he just jogs to the ball.
I've seen.
He's got a great arm.
He does.
He's a very good outfielder, but he just at times he's just very lazy, and I don't like that. And I don't think you should spend your money on that kind of
thing.
Especially
$75 million.
Yeah.
When you got a good center fielder and Bourne, one of the fastest guys in the league. He may not have the pop, but
they needed a right-handed
yeah, they
batter
did need a right-handed
batter.
batter
In that lineup.
With Hayward and McCann.
Exactly. You're going into that lineup now, and that outfield is pretty good too.
Yeah, it is.
So the Braves are, making a splash.
They're making a risk. It's a risk in signing,
yeah.
definitely, but as you said, they're
trying
to make a splash. He can be.
So
I think Freddie Gonzalez will get the most out of him. He seems to be that type of manager.
Well, we got 2 Twitter questions here for baseball. At Billy Stew 22, Billy Stewart from Long Island. He asks, what can the Mets expect this year?
Another 70-win season. I mean, until the owners aren't there anymore, because it's apparent they don't care.
Yeah,
they do not care about winning. Until they go, I just don't see a winner out of this team.
Yeah, I mean, they need to add to this team.
They need to add a lot.
You go through that lineup and you're like, who are some of these guys?
You're saying how is this the Mets?
Yeah,
you're talking we got the Yankees in New York, the prize team, all the champions, and then you go across town and you look at the Mets and they got AAA guys out there.
Yeah,
it doesn't add up.
I think they're gonna miss the playoffs again this year, especially with the Nationals are doing. They just traded for.
Oh, I saw this too.
Denard Span.
Yeah, from the Twins.
The Twins. So I mean, as long as the Nationals keep Strasburg into the rotation, I think they'll make the playoffs again.
Now
the
we
Phillies,
also got the Phillies too.
Phillies, you don't know what's going to happen with them. I mean, if they
have
can stay
people,
healthy,
they have the people if they stay healthy.
If they
now we got the Braves making moves. The only other team like the Mets in there is the Marlins because they dumped everyone.
Yeah, so I don't think they make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, it's basically going to be a recap of what happened this year.
Yeah,
Dickey's going to be
maybe a little, as long as Dickey stays.
Yeah,
as long as Dickey stays.
Which I'm hoping he does for the Mets fans' sake.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I think that's what
I would say. 70, 75 wins.
Maybe
definitely,
even less.
Yeah, maybe less. Definitely not making the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think they make the playoffs. Another baseball question. At Peach44, PJ Leone from Long Island. If the Yankees can sign Pettitte, which they already did, are they the favorite to win the AL East?
I would say they have to be.
Or are the Yankees getting too old to compete? Now, the thing is with the Yankees, they are getting up there in age.
Yeah.
In pretty much most of their big positions. Their lineup and their team is made up for the regular season.
Yeah, their regular season team with the home runs.
Yes. You go into the playoffs, that's when you start getting strategical.
Yeah, that's when
You
pitching
start,
really comes in.
Small ball,
Yeah.
the pitching. You need to hit, doubles,
The
singles.
little things,
Yeah,
the steals,
exactly.
stolen bases.
You can't
stuff like
rely
that.
on the home run,
Yeah.
and with the Yankees, they rely on the home run. So, the signing of Pettit is very good. I don't think Boston's going to be there. I don't think they're that good. I think it's going to come down to, again,
The three teams from
the
last year, I would
Orioles, the
say.
Yankees,
Yeah.
and the Rays.
But I still think the Yankees got the edge just because, let's just face it, they're the Yankees.
experience,
They got
yeah.
the experience. Regular season's what they
Yeah.
do. They'll hit the most home runs in the league, like always.
As long as
And-
the pitching stays, and if they could stay healthy.
And I know the Blue Jays got a whole lot better, but that's going to take time.
You don't know.
with them.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know
what
what you're going to
what's
get
gonna
because team chemistry and stuff. Look what happened to them with the Marlins.
Exactly.
With all the signings. So
Exactly.
you don't know what you're going to get out of them.
They pretty much just gave the team that they just signed last
Yeah.
year. They just gave them to the Blue Jays to see. We'll see
Yeah.
what you can do with them.
So, even though I'm an Orioles fan, I think it's going to come. I think it's going to be between the Yankees and the Rays for at least the division, because
Okay.
Rays just have better pitching, and Yankees have better hitting than the
Yeah.
Orioles. So that's how I feel. I think it's going to come down to those two teams. Longoria is going to be pumped. He just got a huge contract. He's going to be.
Yeah.
He's healthy again this year. He's going to have a monster year.
Yeah,
So I think it's those two teams that it comes down to.
yeah. We'll get into a quick NHL little update.
Just very disappointing. Everything NHL related.
Yeah, they had the talks resumed this week, and they quickly failed with mediation. Then all of a sudden, Commissioner Gary Bettman came out and said he suggests that the players and the owners have a players and owners meeting.
Yeah.
No mediation, no nothing. So we'll see how that pans out. I just don't see a season happening.
It's too late at this point.
We have a Twitter question about the NHL at Peach44. With NHL talks resuming this week, is an agreement coming in the near future? If so, who is taking home Lord Stanley? I don't.
The first part I will answer with, I think Gary Bettman has the problem with the NHL. This is his second lockout in his tenure.
Yeah.
They already blew the whole one last time. The NHL had to rebuild. They were finally rebuilding. Everyone started watching hockey again after last year. Everyone's getting excited, and now this happened again. Like that's a problem because you just went through all of this. How long ago?
I just don't see another the season happening.
I don't. It's not. I don't think
it's way too.
Yeah.
They're into day 76.
They're
already.
canceling the All-Star game
yeah.
already. That's
So I just don't see a season happening. I don't see an agreement in the future.
But I will, to answer the second part of his question, if there was a season to be happening,
see the thing.
I would honestly think a repeat for the Kings.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say either I think that the Kings will be there. The Devils, you got to put them up there because they were there
Rangers
last year.
too.
And then the Rangers with the signing of Rick Nash.
Big signing that they never got to see.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you can't really speculate because you don't know how anybody's going to play. So you got to go by last year. And you know what? It was the Kings and the Devils.
You got to go with the Kings because they got the coach
the
halfway
reigning-
through last
yeah.
year too.
And they're the reigning champions.
So they would have had, they're the reigning champions. They would have had a full season, full off season, to really actually get to know their coach and stuff like that. Even though it didn't really matter.
They got hot at the right time also. But that's really
they just
all
looked
you
like the
can
best
say.
team
Yeah.
overall.
That's
like,
all.
in
I
general.
mean, the Rangers always have this. They always go out. They always get this. The sexy free agent.
Yeah.
They throw the money, but they just never, really.
And I think that's what Ranger fans are
Run with
most
that,
upset about, with this lockout
Yeah.
and everything. Because I think they felt like this could have been their year.
Definitely.
Because they did have a good chance last year. I mean, they have the best goalie in the league.
They have the best goalie, yeah.
Easily.
Definitely.
So, I mean, when you have the best goalie in the league, you automatically have a chance.
Yeah.
Just from that alone.
Of course.
And the signing of Rick Nash, that's a big move. They probably thought that their time was this year.
Yeah.
And it's got to be upsetting.
I mean, you got Gaborik, you got Callahan, so, But,
if they want to know what being upset is like, they can try being an Islanders fan.
Yeah, obviously. So that's pretty much all we really have about NHL. Then we could get into Football Friday, What do you want to go with, NBA first?
Oh, I think let's do NBA. Let's get Matt in here.
All right. So we'll get Matt Stockard back in here. Talk about a little NBA. So what do you think the deal is with the Lakers?
The Lakers,
Yeah.
your squad. I think they had a rough start. They got a lot of superstars coming from different teams. They got Dwight coming from the Magic. They got Steve Nash coming from the Suns. And I think the reason why Steve Nash was having a rough beginning, he's coming from the Suns, who's very high pace, team. So he's used to all this crazy stuff. And then you come to the Lakers, very half court team. It's gonna be hard to adjust.
And then you had the firing of Mike Brown and then the hiring of Mike D'Antoni, which I think is pretty much, tailored for Steve Nash.
Definitely.
So I think it's going to get interesting once he gets back from, the broken leg.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's starting to look like he's like D'Antoni's trying to pull back together that old Suns team.
Stoudemire.
Because he even brought up yesterday. I don't know if you heard this. I heard this on ESPN that he wished he never left Phoenix for New York.
I did see that. So
you can tell that offense, fast paced. That's what he does. It's what he's known for.
And the rumor going around right now is that the Lakers were looking. They were inquiring with the Knicks about maybe making a Gasol for Stoudemire
I'd rather have
trade.
Gasol. Yeah, to be honest.
That's the same with me.
I feel like he's more efficient.
It's one thing to get the old squad back together,
yeah.
But you're talking about an injury-prone, $100 million player
with back problems
that he's had his whole career.
But now you also have a Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Now. So you gotta that offense. It honestly it has to go through him.
Yeah.
So you really can't start putting back together that old Suns team that pretty much got to the playoffs pretty much every year.
Yeah, they were nuts.
But then the conference finals once.
But then would lose to
the Lakers.
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
So I mean it'd be interesting to see. I just don't think Stoudemire can stay healthy for a full season. I don't know.
You're basically trading a well-known, proven, very good center for an injury-prone, not knowing what you're going to get.
I mean, with Gasol, he could shoot.
Yeah,
he's got the mid-range game.
Kyle's just more consistent.
Yeah,
definitely. Stoudemire's more like a highlight guy who would throw up this crazy dunk.
Yeah.
But Pau Gasol is always there getting constant stats.
He's a better shooter.
Yeah, he's got nice shots.
Stoudemire tried to get that little.
He's got better free throw too.
Yeah,
Pau's got nice free throws.
So
some more boards. I like him better as a player.
Yeah, definitely. Then the Lakers are also looking into getting Raja Bell, which I think is
the little pieces like that. I don't mind personally.
I don't mind it either because their bench is very weak.
Yeah, exactly. He's a nice bench player.
You guys lost Matt Barnes.
Yeah,
he was pretty good last year.
They lost Matt Barnes.
He was big on the bench.
Then I think the acquisition of Jody Meeks is a very good pick up.
He will hit that 3-ball whenever he ever has that open shot. He'll drain it.
So I like that. Then you could go. Then we could go to the Celtics.
Celtics.
What do you think is wrong with them?
It's just they're getting old.
Yeah, they're finally showing their age, but they're also they showed that they want to go a little young towards the draft.
Fab Melo. Jared Sullinger's doing pretty big things for them too.
I like Sullinger. I thought he was going to be a steal of the draft because he was projected to go top 5, and then this whole back problem thing came out. But same thing happened to DeJuan Blair, and look what he's doing for Greg Popovich.
Jared Sullinger wants to be a top player. He tries hard, and he's great.
He's trying to prove that he should have been that top draft pick that he thought he was going to be.
I mean, you really can't put the Celtics down.
No,
they're always there. They're always going to be there.
They'll always be there.
With guys like Rondo and Garnett, Pierce, so you can't put them down. Yes, they lost Ray Allen,
but Jason Terry.
It's not that big of a loss when you signed Jason Terry and Ray Allen had his worst year last year. So
I mean,
his ankle injury.
Yeah.
I like Jason Terry.
You can't.
I like him. I feel like he's fitting better than Ray Allen did last year.
Yeah.
Not like I feel like we upgraded from last year, but of course Ray Allen has a monster season with the Heat.
Yeah, well, that's just a perfect fit for
It
him.
really is like the most perfect
He's
fit.
taking
for
Shane
him.
Battier's spot. He just would sit on the side, just pop right open three. But Ray Allen's
it's
the
a
best.
perfect-
I think Boston's going to heat up a little bit here, especially
so.
after a 2-game suspension from Rondo.
Yeah,
I think when he
that's-
gets back, I think he's really going to like become that like the leader they need. Like
He's starting to
he's going
shoot
to
better.
vocalize. Yeah,
Yo, he's hitting 16, 17 feet jump shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's starting to shoot better, which is big. And I've always said I
the
thought
best point guard.
if he could get a shot down, I think he would be the best.
He is.
you
He's,
know,
I
point
still,
guard.
my opinion, I think he is the best point guard in the league.
he's got
That's
see,
maybe
like-
just me. I know everyone's a big Chris Paul fan and everything, but
Yeah.
I just feel like Rondo's the more complete player.
I don't know, Rondo actually is. He's got 20 triple doubles, 13
Yeah.
regular season, 7 playoff, and that's actually he's tied record.
See, I get like I have nothing on Rondo.
His attitude.
Great player. He does have a little bit of an attitude.
Oh,
showing.
definitely.
Throws
Yeah,
a little hit.
obviously
He's
from
trying to square up with Chris Humphries.
yeah.
Guy would
So
double his size.
but I still I just don't put him up there because of his shot.
All right, so
Yeah.
top 3 point guards. So who are you trying to say right now?
I still say I think it's Darren Williams number 1.
Okay.
Because the guy can
He's
pass.
complete, yeah.
He's
got nothing to work with.
yeah,
Now he does. He's got
yeah.
Joe Johnson.
Yeah, he's just
Right.
I feel like he's just a complete player. He's got he can pass.
Yeah,
And then he's got the deep shot. He
Yeah,
can
he
hit
does.
threes. He could drive the lane. So I put
got everything,
him
right?
number 1.
Number 1.
I'll give Chris Paul number 2
Yeah.
because of I wouldn't put him number 1 because he's not clutch.
yeah.
I get what
he's
he's gotten there, and he really hasn't done anything big in his
Yeah.
career, really. So I have nothing on him either. Great basketball player, great point guard, but I just put him behind Darren Williams because of Darren Williams. I think is complete.
He is. He's taller too. You can tell he's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
than his figure.
And then I'd probably give it a Rondo.
Rondo number 4.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah.
I don't like when people put Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook up there.
Yeah,
Because
especially
I don't see
Russell
it.
Westbrook.
I don't
That's-
think
that I
they're-
have a
I don't-
problem.
I don't think they're
Westbrook could be a
point
shooting
guards.
guard. Exactly.
Yeah,
Russ-
I don't think they're
both-
point guards.
I mean, there's nothing more nice than Derrick Rose's cross-up fade, but both of them.
They just call him a point guard because he has the ball most of the time, but
Yeah, they're
he's
not-
clearly a shooting guard.
Yeah.
both of them have a shot. I mean, they're score first before pass first. If
Exactly.
you ever watch the Celtics game, Rondo, if he has an open a kind of open layup, he'll look
He'll
for
give
a
up.
teammate first.
He'll give up
Yeah.
the shot.
Yeah.
If
But,
you're looking to shoot before you pass, then you're not a point
You
guard.
need to
Yeah.
be pass first if you're a point guard. Not
I just
Derrick Rose drives way too much for a point guard. I love him, but he's just not.
I think if the Bulls could get a point guard, I think
Oh, yeah,
they'd be set
Same thing with the Thunder. If they can, I
Well, see,
think
like,
that's
my
why
problem-
they did the trade with Harden because they got
Kevin Martin.
Jeremy Lamb. Didn't they
Oh wait.
Yeah, they did
the
get
Thunder? Didn't they take Houston's first round draft pick
Yeah.
Jeremy
Yeah.
Lamb from Connecticut, the point guard?
Yeah.
He's on the Rockets.
But now he's on the Thunder, right? So I think they might have done that trade because they think he could be the point guard of the future. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
My problem with the Thunder is you have maybe top 3 player
Yeah.
in Kevin Durant. My problem is Russell Westbrook shooting more
And Kevin Durant.
than Kevin Durant.
That's when you know
That's
you have a
ridiculous.
problem.
There's
Yeah.
been so many games where Russell Westbrook's had more shots,
He needs to chill out.
and a lot of their losses, he's had more shots than Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant's the
And then
scoring leader.
And then Kevin Durant's percentage from the field is 10 times better
Yeah.
than Russell
I
Westbrook's.
think he just tries too hard to, I don't know, like be like Durant. I don't want to say it like
He-
that, but like he
but
tries to.
he's pretty much a shooting guard.
Yeah,
you know,
for
he's
sure.
not he's not a
They need to realize that.
but
I like the way Kevin Martin is fitting with the Thunder, though.
yeah, he's
I think he
Yeah,
fits
he's
better
good.
than Harden did. I like it because he'll wait around out of the perimeter, the 3-point line. He'll just sit
He's
there.
a good
pop
shooter,
three.
yeah.
He's got a
He was
shot.
very underappreciated on the Rockets
Yeah.
too. Like
But
I don't
now-
think people really know
Harden-
how good he was, but he's a very good
but
player.
now you
Kevin
put
Martin.
now you put James Harden on Houston, and he's a starter now.
Yeah, but the thing with
And-
him, he's having turnover troubles. He
does.
And with Jeremy Lin, who was having turnover troubles
Yeah.
last year, it's just turnovers all over the place.
Yeah. So
And they knew he was leaving anyway. They knew Harden was leaving.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, that was the thing. They wanted to get something.
they
in
got
return.
at least they got something.
Yeah.
in return.
I like Kevin Martin. I definitely think
I thought that was
a
a
better
great trade for him.
Better trade for
I do think the only thing is I do think they did take a step back though with that.
I guess with like from where they were
just the
last
way
year.
that the Thunder were clicking with James Harden coming off the bench.
But I mean, you got to give it to that group of the owners and the GM.
Yeah.
They knew he wasn't
the 12 and
sticking
4
around.
right now. So
Yeah.
they're doing. not doing bad.
I think come playoffs, you're gonna see the difference.
You think so? That's
Yeah,
what it's
because James Harden was a lot more clutch than
Yeah,
Kevin Martin ever will be. So I mean,
and that's why they had to come off the
Yeah.
bench because
He's
the
another
starters
guy
aren't
who would
in.
take
But
well, that's the thing. He would come in against
the bench
players,
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
and then dominate, and you really didn't need Durant or Westbrook on the
Exactly.
court.
True.
So and then when you come into the fourth quarter, now you have James Harden coming off the bench, who's fresh. Then you add Durant and Westbrook with him.
That's just not fair.
They
See,
pretty much.
and that's where my problem with like some of these players comes in because you're on a great team. You get to the
Why-
finals last year.
You're making enough money.
You're making money like way more than normal people are making.
Yeah.
You signed
Win
with-
a
you
couple
leave-
signed
more.
with the Rockets.
Yeah.
And
Win
you
a
sign
couple
with the
more
exactly.
championships.
You sign with the Rockets.
He's-
Like stay that 6 man. Take 10 million less.
right?
Like
Yeah.
The Rockets
you're making 30 million, whatever it would have been that if you took 10 million
Yeah.
less to play on such a championship level team.
Seriously.
Yeah.
The
It
Rockets
just-
are the
that
forgotten
always
team.
gets to me.
Rockets are the forgotten team of Texas. You got the Dallas Mavericks. You got the
Yeah.
Spurs.
Well, you got-
definitely the
well, you
most
got-
Houston's always
underappreciated.
the forgotten team of the.
Yeah. But Dallas is in a little downfall with
Yeah, they're 7-9.
Dirk out.
Yeah.
They're showing their troubles.
Cuban
without
will do
Dirk.
something.
Yeah.
He always does.
But they said I think Nowinski, they don't have a timetable on
Wow,
when
that's
he's
big.
coming back. So
But talking about the
knows?
Mavericks, Jay Crowder.
yeah,
Guys, he big time pickup rookie.
definitely.
You guys know Jay Crowder?
Yeah.
Hits big shots. His stats aren't too high, but he hits shots when he needs to. His
Definitely.
shots are just he's
And I
great.
like them getting OJ Mayo too.
He's-
I
yeah,
thought that was nice.
he's
Losing
actually
Terry.
playing
He's
pretty
taking
well.
leadership.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
He's taking not taking Dirk's spot, but he's taking Dirk's role.
Yeah,
He's
definitely.
taking big. He's stepping up.
You know,
OJ Mayo.
he
With
really
the-
couldn't find his way in Memphis.
Yeah.
And I think he's starting to find his way in Dallas. And
It seems like a perfect fit for
Yeah.
him.
But
Yeah.
I think the big story of the NBA so far obviously is the Knicks and the Nets,
Next in the net.
and how this might become a bigger rivalry than anybody had thought.
expected.
So, I mean, they come into early in the week, they play each other, they go into overtime, and the Nets pull it out. Who do you think is the better team?
I think the Nets are better.
I
Knicks.
honestly-
I think the Knicks. I think the Nets are just the reason why they're doing so good is obviously they picked up Joe Johnson, but they're the new Brooklyn Nets, so they got all this hype, all this
Yeah.
new fan base. They got all this confidence building. But I feel like longer during the season when the novelty of the Brooklyn Nets kind of wears down a little bit, they're gonna start be like, oh wow, we're the New Jersey Nets, and they're gonna not do it.
I think different. I think they could be the real deal. They have a real time coach.
I think
Avery
they have a better
Johnson.
coach than the Knicks.
They have a better coach than the Knicks. They have size. They have 2 7-footers. You got the
I
best
think-
point guard in the league,
I think their best player is better than the Knicks' best player.
and that's another thing.
Well, I would say
I think
I
Darren
don't like
Wi-
Carmelo.
I think
And
Darren Williams
by
is better
far,
than-
their 2 best players are better than the Knicks' 2 best players.
Yeah.
because
Who you
when you
guys
throw
saying
Joe
is-
Johnson in there,
Well,
Joe
I think
Johnson?
Darren Williams is better than obviously Carmelo Anthony. I think he's just a better player.
Yeah, I'd rather have Darren because
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously they play 2 different positions.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
not.
but
Right.
I just feel like if you're gonna be like, oh, this team's got that best player and that team's got
Yeah.
that best player. Going by that, I think the Nets are better off with their
I
best
think they're
player
better, yeah.
than because you go in. The Knicks are just shooting very well right now.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
that's what I was
yeah,
gonna say. The
that's-
Knicks.
They're the big surprise is they're playing defense.
Yeah, I'll give them that, but that's the thing that the fans don't realize is.
But
with the
I-
hot start, it's all the shooting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
You're not gonna shoot lights out like this all year. That's the problem.
you win by the 3, you lose by the 3. And
Yeah.
that's-
My problem with the Knicks is, I don't know how it's gonna work out when Amari.
And that's
Stoudemire comes
that's
back.
another problem when you're talking
When Amari
about
came back last year.
their
They
second best
fell
player,
down.
and
Yeah, they didn't.
So I mean,
Because you got Carmelo and Stoudemire they clash. And
the big
they both
mistake the
want
Knicks
ball.
made was getting rid of Chauncey Billups when they had the chance to get rid of Amari.
Yeah.
They had a chance to clear that contract, and they didn't.
yeah.
And they're going to regret that.
But we have a few Twitter questions about the
All right.
Knicks and the Nets. We got @Jabs9. Sam Jobin. Who do you think will do better throughout the season and the playoffs? Knicks or the Nets?
And the thing with the Knicks is their first 3 games, they started off shooting 31.7 3-points a game. I mean, how long is that going to work?
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's not going to work that long. That's going to. I mean, I'm not saying they're getting lucky. Obviously, it's not luck them hitting the shots, but that's not going to work that long. And then when they actually get to the playoffs, they normally get to the playoffs. When they get there, they got Carmelo. How many times has Carmelo gotten past the first round? of the playoffs?
Not at all.
0.
Never.
Carmelo. They don't have any
So-
They don't have any veterans to get them past. I mean, Stoudemire, but
You also got Jason Kidd too.
oh yeah, I forgot about Jason Kidd. I mean,
Yeah, basketball definitely tightens up in the playoffs, too. Just like baseball with the
they're different
pitching.
teams.
Yeah.
The defense really is what steps up in the playoffs.
Like the Celtics, like one of the greatest playoffs. They're always in the playoffs and always
Yeah.
are good. Almost took out the Heat. They took them to Game 7 last year. It was disgusting.
I just feel like the Nets are going to do better. They got
So
they got
do
a
I.
very proven center in Brook Lopez, one of the
He's
best
going
centers in the game.
nuts this
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
He's doing
Brooke
big.
Lopez is really putting
He's
himself
stepping
up
up.
there
Yeah.
with the top centers.
And
in
then
the
you
league.
take him out, you put Chris Humphries in, just for size.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, they're
size
both
measures,
huge.
rebounds.
He still puts up points.
And he does, yeah.
Humphries. And
Brooks
then
probably
and then
one of the best
Gerald
shooting
Wallace.
centers.
You got Gerald Wallace, who I think is very underrated.
Very underrated.
Definitely,
Very
definitely
underrated. And then Joe Johnson. So I honestly do think
And then
that the
you
Nets
got to
are
give credit to
better.
their head coach. I believe he has the highest winning percentage in NBA history still. I
So-
mean, he may not have won a ring, as a
Yeah.
coach, but you can see
got
that
close to it.
you could see that he's meant for
Brought
it.
You know what was a
Dallas
good pickup
he
with the
brought
Nets?
Dallas to the championship.
I mean, it's like a little thing, but C.J. Watson, and that's got C.J.
Yeah.
Watson.
I
Big
like
pickup.
C.J. Watson.
When Derrick Rose was out,
Yeah,
C.J.
he
Watson,
was big for the
I don't know if
Bulls.
you guys were
Definitely.
watching. It was the Bulls Heat game. C.J. Watson hit the most beautiful buzzer beater 3 I've ever.
Yeah.
Most crazy I've ever.
I like
over a
C.J.
basketball
Watson.
game.
That's a nice.
He's
that's
a big
nice.
pickup for them.
Yeah.
He's a great.
He's a nice
guy to come off
backup
the bench.
point guard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good
Another
guy to come off
Twitter
the bench.
question
All
at Peach44. Nets beat the Knicks the other night. Does this justify them as legit contenders as running New York?
They're both 10-4. They're both having good
Yeah.
seasons.
I think I
don't know.
right now you don't know what you're gonna get from the Nets so far.
It's a new.
So I would probably put the Knicks like right there now. But I would probably have to look over it
especially with that hot
like,
start they had
towards-
and everything.
towards the
they were
All-Star
going-
break. I could make it a better answer for that. But
But
it's
definitely
definitely
right now,
it's
it's
definitely
the Knicks
turning
town.
it's definitely turning into a very good rivalry.
It's nice to
that
have.
everybody-
Yeah, it's
See,
nice
like
to have these
the
two
thing with the
teams.
Nets now is like a lot of the players are coming out and they're saying the Nets finally have a home field advantage.
Yeah,
Yeah, they would
which
get
they never
beat up,
had.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
like-
felt like
that was-
in Jersey it was never like a basketball
like a
kinda
basketball environment
atmosphere. Yeah. So we have one last question. So how do you at Colucci 715, Mike Colucci from Long Island. So how do you feel about the Knicks start? Do you think they could be the same team at the end of the season and playoffs? And what do you think is going to happen when Amari comes back?
Well, I feel like the start, you can never go by the start of a season because
Yeah.
all the teams, they haven't been in a real game. They've only been doing
Yeah.
like summer thing. You can't go by the beginning games and the.
See, we
can-
pretty much like answered these
Yeah, I was
questions.
just gonna say, just like we said about
Um,
like the Knicks hot start with the threes and stuff like that. We know it's not gonna
Honestly,
keep up.
Not gonna.
Honestly, I will say right now, if they both make the playoffs, I think the Nets are going to go
Yes,
further
I would
Yeah.
too.
because of
The size
Darren Williams.
and the point guard.
So because you look at the Knicks, really.
They got.
I mean, you got Jason Kidd.
Yeah, but
You don't know if they're
getting
gonna
old-
hold up
getting
all
old.
year.
He's-
Yeah, I
can't
mean,
keep up.
compared to you have on the Nets, you have a legitimate
You have a nice core group.
Yeah, like
said,
you got a guy that's gonna come down.
Darren Williams
and
is pretty
he's-
young too. He's,
yeah.
he's,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
He's gonna be there for a while. He's great.
So I honestly think that the Nets will go further in the playoffs.
I do too.
The Knicks, I feel, if they can keep on playing the way they are,
Then that'd be
they'll make the
nuts.
playoffs. They can do whatever as long as they don't see the Heat in the first round. Because
that's what it's going to be about for the Knicks, like the matchup.
Yeah.
Who they get in the playoffs that
Yeah.
can decide if they can go further or not.
Last year they
And-
got destroyed by the Heat. Took them out in what?
And
5 games?
like I said before, answering the last question, what do you think is going to happen when Amari comes back? I think they're going to fall apart.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Because
he came out and said that
Yeah,
he's
he's
fine
come
coming off
yeah.
the bench, but
just knowing Amari and like
Yeah.
the way he's been like
I don't
throughout
like.
the past,
I don't like him one bit. I don't like
so
him.
it's not gonna work out.
Yeah.
Him and Carmelo obviously cannot be on the court at the same time,
exactly.
and that's just when you know you have a problem. And the Knicks are obviously gonna stay with Carmelo.
Yeah.
They need to figure something out with Amari.
All right, so that's pretty much it with the NBA stuff. We'll get into Football Friday now. Obviously, we had the last night's game. Now, first game, 1 o'clock games. We got the Seahawks 6-5 at Chicago 8-3. Seahawks are a totally different team away from
Yeah.
home. So, what are they?
That's
One
a tough
road win,
game.
I think, maybe one
Yeah,
road game.
That's a tough game for
So-
Russell Wilson. So
I mean, I think the defense could really do a number on that front line of
I would,
of the Bears.
The only
So
way
I-
they can win that,
yeah.
at least stay in the game, is if their defense plays big.
I do think that this game's going to be pretty close.
Closer than people think.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it all depends on Jay Cutler. He can.
He can win you a game or he can lose you a game.
exactly. So, but I honestly think the Chicago Bears win this
Yeah,
game.
I'm going with the Bears.
And this game is pretty big for the NFC playoff picture. Seahawks are 6-5, so
And the Bears
a
are in
loss
the
that-
well, they're in the first in the division
Yeah,
now because
they're-
of the Packers.
But the Packers are right behind them.
They're
so
right. I think there's a game right behind them.
These games are pretty big with that.
Yeah,
division.
these come down to like the wild cards
Yeah.
and all that. So every game now is really big.
So next game you got 6-5 Vikings at 7-4 Packers. Another big playoff picture game. It's at Lambeau.
Yeah, you got to give
The
this one to Green
The
Bay.
Vikings had
They're
at
slowly
Chicago
starting
last
yeah.
week. So
they're
it's
slowly
like,
starting to fall apart. The
Yeah.
Vikings. I mean, like
I
you
mean,
give
if
them
they could run the
props.
ball, I mean, you could run the ball on Green
Yeah.
Bay. So if they could keep it in Adrian Peterson's hands, keep it.
Well, another thing is
And keep
Adrian
Aaron-
can't keep it in Adrian's
Well,
hands.
yeah,
and
that is
the,
a problem.
The Packers know that, so I mean, we'll see.
If they could keep Aaron Rodgers on the sideline, or even do what the Giants did to them last week, which
Just
is a
blitz
joke.
him. And
The next game you got 49ers at the Rams, 8-2 at 4-6.
well,
Rams are a different team.
They're definitely
kind of
better
like
at home.
like the Seahawks. They're a
Yeah.
different team at home.
and then last time they played the 49ers, we all know what happened with the tie.
Well, now you
So-
have the big controversy now with the 49ers. Harbaugh already came out and said Kaepernick starting. So, you don't know. Kaepernick had two good games.
Two good,
Actually,
yeah.
you can even say they were great games.
Yeah.
So you don't know really, like, you've only seen him twice. You don't know really what you're going to get from him. But you know what you're going to get from that defense.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why Harbaugh's doing this, because he knows he can take the chance.
Exactly. So I do think the 49ers win this game. So, but then the next game, we'll get into a little bit of that Alex Smith and Kaepernick a little later. Cardinals at the Jets,
Next game,
4-7 and 4-7.
that's gonna be
I mean, we
it's
really
gonna be a
don't-
real doozy. I mean,
Yeah.
Cardinals have a great we could say great defense, because I think they are. I think they have very good pass rushing, and very good defense.
they do have a very good defense.
So it's going to be a very low scoring game.
Their
that
problem
game.
is their quarterback.
Yeah, so that's that.
You're
We're talking
on
about
your
two
third
good
string
defenses going
quarterback.
on each other, so
Yeah.
it's going to be very low scoring.
I don't even know who to pick in this game. I mean,
I don't know. This is. I want to see Cardinals just because the Jets look like a complete mess.
but it is at MetLife.
But well, from what we saw on, I don't know if you saw like yesterday with the whole Bart Scott thing.
Yeah,
Apparently, it's not
that's-
much of a home game anymore for
yeah,
the
I know.
Jets.
But that game's going to be a debacle.
You guys saw the Jets guy, right? The JET Jets. He's leaving.
Yeah,
third quarter.
that's
Fire him in the head.
The
That's how you-
whole
that's how you know.
Yeah,
That's
that's
how
how
you
you
know
know the whole
he gave up.
franchise is
Going
just
down.
going down.
Next game is Colts at Lions. I think it's going to be a good game.
That's going to be a good game.
Colts are having a very good season. Lions are not.
I could see the Colts going up there and winning.
But the Lions do have a very good team. They're just not playing to their talent. I could see Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I can see him going up there and winning.
Yeah.
And I just don't think Jim Schwartz is going to be hanging around too much longer. They have such talent on that team that it has to fall on the head coach.
See, my problem is with Matthew Stafford. I don't think he's as good as everybody thinks he is.
No, I mean, being the first pick overall,
Yeah.
you got all this stuff on you, but he's
to have
really
the
not that
best
good.
wide receiver.
He's got Calvin.
So, but the next game I think is even worse than the Cardinals and Jets. Jaguars at the Bills.
Wow.
Jaguars made a little splash
Exciting.
when the Eagles waived Jason Babin. They claimed him off of waivers. I don't know how much that's going to help.
Not much because there's 5 games left.
Yeah.
He's getting paid $1.5 million
And
for 5
he has
games,
the choice not to show up.
which I think he's going to do.
Yeah.
Which
So-
not show up, I mean.
Who knows? That game's just going to be horrendous. It might actually be so bad that it's actually going to be good.
Yeah, like one of those type games.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to go with the Jaguars in this game.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go Bills, I'm home.
Yeah. So the next game, Patriots at Dolphins. Dolphins always give the Patriots problems. You still have
If this was in
Gronkowski
Foxborough,
out.
I would clearly be going New
But
England.
Right now, the way the Patriots have been playing,
The way
I
their
don't
offense
think
is rolling,
I
yeah.
don't think anybody beats them. I'm going to go with the
It
Patriots.
will be close. I think it's going to be a good
definitely,
game. That's
definitely.
going to be one of the best games this week, I think.
Yeah, they're going to win. I think the Patriots are going to win the game. Then you got the Texans at the Titans. Not much of a game, really.
No, Titans terrible defense,
Quarterback problems.
defense problems.
Yeah. So,
I guess the only good thing you can say about the
But the-
Titans is Chris Johnson woke up finally.
finally. But then you look at the Texans. They're another, they're just like the Atlanta Falcons. I just
Yeah.
don't think that they're... honestly, I think the 49ers are the best team right now.
I would
Even
I
with
would agree.
Kaepernick as
Yeah.
a quarterback. So,
Because especially when Texans played weak teams
Yeah.
the past 2 weeks and they went into overtime both times.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Then you got the Buccaneers at the Broncos, which is going to be
That's going to be a good game.
Very
That's,
good game.
That could be the game of the week besides the
You
big
got,
one in Baltimore. But
You got, I think the comeback player of the year and even maybe the MVP for Peyton Manning. So, he could have even won MVP last year. He got votes. He got votes.
he
Did
should
not
have
play a game.
because
Did not play a game.
you
but he
saw
had votes.
how much he meant to the
Exactly.
Colts. That's
Exactly.
That's what MVP is all about.
This game pretty much hinges on Josh Freeman.
Yeah,
Like, what is he gonna do if he?
because Peyton's going to be able.
Yeah.
Peyton's going to score. It's
So-
about if Freeman can keep up with him.
Yeah, exactly. And the way he's been playing with Vincent Jackson is pretty insane.
That's going to be a very good game because Doug Martin's having a big year too, obviously.
Definitely.
So that could be a very explosive game.
Then we got a little rivalry here.
The big one.
Pittsburgh at Ravens. Roethlisberger's not playing, pretty much.
Yeah,
Thanks to my Chiefs.
Reading the report and stuff like that. And
So, they're missing a lot of players with Pittsburgh. The Ravens are 9-2 now. They're pretty much on a roll. So
I just think the biggest thing in this game is playing in M&T Bank Stadium.
yeah,
You're talking about 15 in a row.
Yep.
Ravens going for 16 games in a row at home. They
Could've-
just don't lose. Flacco's another beast at home.
yeah.
He really is.
They
Like,
could have lost a couple of weeks ago, but we're not going to get into that.
yeah, he could have. They could have very easily if
Very
the
easily.
other coach know what he was doing. But
Exactly.
But
But we're not going to get into that. Next game, because that game is pretty much
Yeah,
a lock.
I would hope with
You just jinxed it.
the rookie running back starting for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Which he's good. Jonathan
he-
Dwyer, he's a good
he's
running
good.
back. But you're just going to eventually get a veteran defense that
Yeah.
knows how to attack you.
The next game, another bad one. Browns at the Raiders. Both 3-8.
The Browns are the best
Browns.
3-8 team in football. I just want to. I'm
That's-
pointing
well,
that
that's
out.
what
Just
that's how
want
I
to say,
feel.
yeah, they are easily the best three-win
You know,
team in football.
I mean, to do what they did against the Steelers last week.
That was funny.
I mean, what they have? They had
8.
turnovers.
They're gonna dismantle the Raiders.
So I think they, and this is in Oakland too, which is tough, but I think they beat them pretty easily. Depending on if Whedon plays.
Yeah. If
You
anyone
know.
can, has like the DirecTV thing or out there that's listening, watch that game and watch the
Oh, yeah.
Browns because if you think the Browns are bad, then you really don't. You haven't been watching them this
Well,
year.
that's what I'm saying. They've been in every.
They've been in every game. I've been
Every
watching them with
game.
like the Sunday Ticket, like going back and forth. They are in every game. They are
Every
a
game.
good football team.
Yeah. Next game, Bengals at the Chargers.
Bengals,
Bengals-
probably the hottest team in football.
Bengals
Close to
have
it.
having a decent season. They're 6-5.
They're heating up. Though.
Chargers are absolutely not. They're at 4-7. Philip Rivers just looks very bad.
Yeah, it's getting worse and worse with
Yeah.
Rivers. No
And,
returners.
I mean,
got to be gone.
You really can't go against Andy Dalton and AJ Green right now.
No, they've been on
So-
fire.
Yeah. So I think the Bengals pull that one off.
And North Turner's got to be gone.
Yeah.
Like if this isn't the year that he's gone, then they're
Oh, I
never
know.
gonna get rid of him.
NFC East game next Sunday night. Eagles at the Cowboys.
Ooh.
Now the Eagles are coming in
A
without
mess.
Vic.
They're coming to
Without-
McCoy.
They're probably not gonna have McCoy.
They don't have Deshaun.
And
They,
Avant, right?
Deshaun's on IR. Avant was practicing, so he'll probably play.
But
They just got rid of Jason Babin.
as bad as they look, they're gonna show up for the
Oh, yeah.
Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's
Of course.
that's the thing with this.
Of course. And the Cowboys are just they're not very consistent at home.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to get. It feels like they're not it's not even a home game.
It's starting to get. They need to do something about that because
So-
home field advantage in football is very
It's big.
important. It's
big.
huge.
Exactly. So, the NFC East pretty much took over the main games of this week.
Yeah, with Sunday night and Monday night.
The big game is the Giants at Washington.
Those two, there's a lot riding in just those two games
Oh,
alone.
definitely.
If you think about it, because
Definitely.
you're talking about 2 5-6 teams, and what are the Giants? 7-4.
7-4, and then the Eagles are
So,
3-8.
We're talking about Redskins.
This
win.
is all playoffs. This is all playoff
Yeah.
picture here.
Redskins win, they're tied for first. Cowboys win, they're also tied. We got a 3-way tie if the Cowboys and Redskins win.
Well, yeah.
Just
They're about
with
a
the
half a
division
game. Yeah,
in
it's-
between each other and stuff,
yeah.
but
If the Cowboys can win, they'll be 6-6. If Washington can win, they'll be 6-6. Then you got to look at the other games. You got the Seahawks are 6-5. They lose, they're 6-6.
yeah.
Vikings lose, they're 6-6. Then you go, to where else? I mean,
Tampa's still in it too.
The Packers lose, they're 7-5.
Yeah.
Now it's getting interesting. Then the Packers win. Chicago loses. They're 8-4 now. Now the Packers are 8-4.
Yeah,
So now I think one of those two teams are gonna obviously take the one wild card. So it's just gonna come down to who's gonna take that last
there's
wild
like
card.
4 or 5 teams going
Yeah.
for that one wild card.
So it's gonna get interesting. But back to the Kaepernick and Alex Smith. You look at Alex Smith. Alex Smith is 5th in the NFL with passer rating of 104.1. He leads the league in completion percentage at 70%. He averages 24 passes a game. So he comes out and says, I lost my starting job because I got a concussion, not because of the way he's playing. 'Cause he's been playing,
which is fair, I think,
Yeah.
because he's right. He's absolutely right.
I don't know what Harbaugh is trying to do. I do think that right now Kaepernick is playing out of his mind.
Yeah, and you
I
got
don't
to
know
ride
how
it.
long that's gonna take. But now you're also risking, losing Alex Smith
Yeah.
as well. So now say, Kaepernick starts going down. Now you're gonna take Alex Smith off the bench where he's been starting the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So, it's a crazy situation. He came out right away and said Kaepernick starting. So, it should be a fun.
I think they should stick with Kaepernick for the long term because Alex Smith, like you said,
He's
he's got the
been here
QBR, he's got the completion percentage, but he doesn't take chances.
Yeah.
And with that defense, Harbaugh wants his quarterback to take chances, which is why he's starting Kaepernick, because Kaepernick throws it down the field, he takes the chance, he risks.
Yep.
And I think that's what Harbaugh likes, because with the defense that the 49ers have, you can do that.
Yeah.
You're allowed to with those linebackers and the corners and the safeties.
Exactly.
You can do that.
Exactly. So, I mean,
I just think he's a better quarterback for their system. Because they're a run team with Gore. They're the best running team in football.
definitely.
They got the spread open with Kaepernick and Gore and Kendall Hunter, who happens to be one of the best backup running backs.
He's out for the season now, though.
Oh, is he? Okay,
Yeah.
so they still have a very efficient running game, though.
Yeah.
They got the passing game.
They still got Brandon Jacobs also.
Yeah.
So,
I think Kaepernick's a better fit for that system.
Yeah.
Alex Smith is way too conservative.
Yeah, so, but that will do it for the Tom and Jerry show and Matt.
Thank you.
So, once again, maybe look into that Jimmy V Foundation.
Yeah, definitely do, guys. It'll be on all week on ESPN for the tournament.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up. But, Matt, do you have any last words? Probably gonna be back.
Watch out for the
couple
Chiefs
more
next
times.
year. Those are my words. Those are my words.
He'll probably be back a few more times
Yeah,
to
he'll
talk
be back
about
for sure.
NBA. Tom, you got anything else to say?
Thank you again for we haven't posted in a week, but
Definitely.
Keep
listening,
watching, guys.
Keep listening. We have a couple of ideas up our sleeves, so definitely be
Stay
aware of
tuned.
those.
Yeah.
We'll let you know. Remember, follow us on Twitter, Tom and Jerry Sports. The N is just the letter N, by the way. You can also follow me on at Jerry Naps, and all the videos will be on there. So everything will be uploaded. So just keep, we're gonna keep on doing with the Twitter questions. So every week,
Yeah, please keep throwing them in there.
yeah, makes it interesting for us. So hope we answered all your questions. Tom and Jerry signing out. Be breezy. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Tom and Jerry Show.